Difference.
Mercy Hospital in Joplin says it's dealing with a spike in coronavirus cases among unvaccinated residents.
President Biden is in Europe for his first foreign trip in office. I'm Skyler Henry with more on his 8-day visit, including a planned sit-down with Russian President Vladimir Putin.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
COVID-19 cases are beginning to spike across the area, and health officials say there seems to be one common element. This is KOAM News at 5. Hospitalizations for COVID are up at both Freeman and Mercy compared to just a couple of weeks ago. Freeman Hospital went from 8 inpatients on May 28th to 23 as of today. Mercy has seen a similar increase. Officials tell us in the past 2 weeks, their numbers have gone from single digits to around 21. Officials say the increase is likely due, at least in part, to more unvaccinated people being out for such things as graduations and Memorial Day.
The majority of our inpatients currently are not vaccinated, and that is something that we would still very much encourage everyone that hasn't been fully vaccinated to consider.
While hospitalizations are increasing, that means there's also been an increase in overall positive cases. Coming up at 6, we're going to hear from the Newton County Health Department on the numbers they're seeing. A former Joplin fire chief who passed away last week was laid to rest today. A celebration of life for William Harry Gwynn was held at Park Plaza Church in Joplin. Gwynn was then laid to rest at the Ozark Memorial Park Cemetery. Gwynn served at the fire department in Joplin for 42 years, including 15 years as chief before retiring in 1995. He passed away on June 1st at the age of 90. Checking in with Nick Kelly now. Some clouds and some sun out there, Nick.
Yeah, for the most part, Dal, we've managed a pretty dry day overall, something we haven't been able to say for at least a little while. Partly sunny skies, sure. That is for sure what we're seeing outside right now. Not a lot on the radar network. Haven't seen much throughout the course of the day, but not too far to the east. We have seen scattered rain and thunderstorms across eastern Missouri, southern Illinois. That stubborn upper low still close by, so it's not quite done with us just yet, but at least it behaved across the area today. But look at what it resulted in. Temperatures near 90 degrees at the top of the hour. As we go through the rest of the evening, we'll fall through the 80s into the upper 70s by 10. Maybe that upper low trying to send a few isolated storms overnight, but we'll see overnight lows eventually drop back to about 72. And these are temperatures that will definitely stick around for the weekend. We'll break down the forecast here in a bit.
All right, catch you then. Thanks, Nick. Joplin DMV is back open at full capacity after it was flooded in recent storms. Some of the vital equipment has been raised higher in case of future floods. Officials say there is no forgiveness for any deadlines people may have missed because other places handle the same services. They're still doing some recovery work, but they say that does not affect service. President Biden is on the first overseas trip of his administration. The agenda includes a meeting with G7 allies, as well as Britain's Queen Elizabeth and Russian President Vladimir Putin. Skyler Henry reports on what's at stake in the president's 8-day visit.
On his first trip abroad as commander-in-chief, President Biden started his journey with a visit to U.S. troops stationed in Britain.
I'm so proud to be here with all of you to kick off my first overseas trip as president.
The president's 8-day trip is designed to reassure allies of America's role on the world stage. That begins with Thursday's meeting with British Prime Minister Boris Johnson.
It's the first time any of us really have been able to see each other face to face since the pandemic began. And, you know, the pandemic, let's face it, was a pretty scratchy period.
The president then heads to the G7 summit in Cornwall, England, where he's expected to announce the donation of hundreds of millions of COVID vaccines to low-income countries. He'll also meet with Queen Elizabeth before joining a NATO summit in Belgium. President Biden will end his trip with a summit with Russian President Vladimir Putin. The two will sit down for a face-to-face meeting in Geneva. Biden wants the Russian leader to crack down on cyber attacks on American businesses and end interference into U.S. elections. He's meeting first with his European allies to demonstrate a show of unity.
Strengthening the alliance, make it clear to Putin and to China that Europe and the United States are tight.
Ожиданий никаких.
Putin's foreign minister says the fact the leaders are meeting is important,
Грядут некие прорывы.
but that Russia has no inflated expectations. President Biden, when asked about his expectations, answered, "Who knows?" Skyler Henry, CBS News, the White House.
Although it's his first overseas trip as president, Joe Biden traveled the world for decades as both a senator and vice president. The White House says he'll continue discussions on infrastructure. He's called it quits on negotiations with a group of moderate Senate Republicans that he'd hoped would support his plan. His focus has now turned to a bipartisan effort led by several senators and the House Problem Solvers Caucus. The White House says the president is also exploring budget reconciliation as an option. An Air Force base in San Antonio was on lockdown for about an hour this afternoon after military officials said gunfire was reported near a base gate. Joint Base San Antonio-Lackland officials said they are investigating reports that 2 people fired shots toward an area where base personnel were training. No injuries were reported. Lackland is where the Air Force conducts all its basic training. Still ahead, a new report on the tax burden of billionaires.
Working Americans pay the tax man with every paycheck, but not the ultra-rich. I'm Elise Preston with why you may owe more than a billionaire.
And next in Health Watch, doctors hail a new obesity drug as a game changer. Research suggests too much caffeine could damage your eyes. Researchers at Mount Sinai Hospital School of Medicine say for people with a genetic predisposition to or family history with glaucoma, too much caffeine creates a high risk for intraocular pressure. The scientists accessed the UK's biobank for 120,000 participants between 2006 and 2010. High caffeine intake didn't create a glaucoma risk for everyone, but for those with predisposition or family history, higher risk of elevated eye pressure was seen. New research suggests women trying to conceive should avoid heavy drinking. The study published in Human Reproduction found heavy drinking during any phase of a woman's cycle was significantly associated with reduced chances of getting pregnant. A new drug in the fight against obesity is being hailed as a game changer. More than 40% of American adults are obese, and many also have chronic health problems such as diabetes, high blood pressure, or high cholesterol. Reporter Dr. John LaPook reports.
America has a new weapon in the fight against obesity. The new drug, Wegovy, is approved for people who are either obese or overweight with at least one weight-related medical problem.
We have to think about obesity no different than hypertension, than high cholesterol, than diabetes.
Dr. Domenica Rubino says weight loss from current obesity medications averages about 7 to 9% of body weight.
People who require 10%, 15%, 20% weight loss, we need tools.
During a 16-month study, patients on Wegovy lost on average 17% of body weight. Side effects included diarrhea and nausea, which usually resolved as the dose was slowly increased. Patients taken off the drug gained back more than half their weight loss.
I did everything from fad diets to anything that I thought would work.
Lisa Robillard was a trial participant. She lost 63 pounds.
I wasn't hungry between meals, which was just unheard of for me. I was fuller quicker, and cravings that I had disappeared.
Wegovy is similar to the diabetes drug Ozempic, which is already being prescribed off-label for weight loss. Both mimic a natural hormone that helps regulate appetite.
These hormones actually affect signals in the brain. It really just doesn't come down to willpower. It's much more complicated. This physiology is very strong, and it is not your fault.
The drug is approved for long-term use, and it's important that it's part of a weight loss program that includes, yes, diet and exercise. Dr. John LaPook, CBS News, New York.
Your bone health could impact your risk of developing Parkinson's disease. A new study in arthritis care and research shows middle-aged osteoarthritis patients have a 41% higher risk of developing the brain disorder. Doctors say in some cases, mobility issues from osteoarthritis can cover up early symptoms of Parkinson's. And that is a look at today's health news. Later, our pet vet on call.
Hi, I'm Dr. Eva Dudek from Parsons Pet Hospital. Coming up, we're going to tell you how to treat a cracked nail on your dog.
AOMNewsNow.com.
It was nice that we kept things pretty dry for a change today, but with partly sunny skies, that did not stop us from turning a bit hot and humid, with highs pushing in the lower 90s for today. After we had several days of random scattered showers and a couple of thunderstorms, most of that stayed off to the east so far today, so we just had to deal with partly sunny skies. Didn't look like a bad day, certainly with nothing on the radar network at 5:15 on this Wednesday evening. That being said, we could only hold off on the early summer heat for so long. After going from the mid-80s yesterday, we dropped near 70 this morning and at least topped out around 91, which is where we sit right now at Joplin Regional. So again, it looks nice outside, sure, with partly sunny skies, but it's only a matter of time before these numbers came back. 91 in Joplin with a dew point of 71. Makes it feel like the upper 90s outside across the city. 90 in Pittsburgh, 92 in Columbus and Chanute, and maybe some upper 80s around Stockton Lake. But you factor in the humidity, it feels like 94 in Milnette, 97 in Cassville, feels just over 100 in Newata. And these are numbers that are going to stick around for the next couple of days. For the most part, though, the evening starts dry. Can't rule out maybe a random shower or storm late tonight. But in general, we're looking at a mild night with lows back in the lower 70s. So let's get you to the maps and break down our weather setup. Not a lot happening right now here. Not much across the Central Plains, but we park ourselves just to the east. This stubborn upper level low causing wide scattered showers and a couple of thunderstorms, especially a little more severe weather across parts of the deep south. At the surface, we're still waiting for this frontal system to head our way, but I don't see that happening until we go into early next week. In the meantime, this upper low is now parked over Illinois, Indiana, that state border. As long as it's still nearby, it could bring in a few random showers late tonight. But as this upper ridge begins to build in, that keeps the heat in place as we head toward the weekend, and we'll have to watch for any storm systems running along the ridge. That could actually come into the equation on Friday. So let's break down the forecast here. Partly cloudy skies. That's the general rule of thumb for everybody as we go through the rest of the evening and into tonight. With that said, though, as long as that upper low out east is nearby, we're not going to rule out maybe a random shower, a random thunderstorm or two, but most of us will be relatively dry as we start in the lower 70s for your Thursday morning. Fast forward to tomorrow afternoon, maybe a random shower or storm, but most of us look dry. It's going to be hot and humid again. 72 in the morning, 87 by noon. Afternoon highs topping out around 91. We're quiet Thursday night and to start Friday out with lows in the lower 70s. We'll push almost into the lower 90s on Friday, but a system running around the ridge. Look at what it wants to probably do by Friday afternoon and Friday evening. We could have to deal with a complex of storms heading our way as we head into late Friday afternoon and Friday evening. So that's the next best shot for rain and storms that we'll be keeping an eye on for the next few days. 91 tomorrow, even with the better shot for storms on Friday, still hot with highs near 92. 89 Saturday, back into the lower 90s Sunday and Monday. So Dow, we could only hold off on the early summer heat for so long, but it has returned.
And it's going to be kind of muggy to go with that. Yes, it looks like. Thanks, Nick. Coming up, a new report shows the wealthiest Americans pay little to no income tax. First, though, we honor a local veteran. Lisa Milner served in the U.S. Air Force from 1991 to 2004. The Oklahoma native has worked at the Pentagon, and we salute Master Sergeant Lisa Milner, a four-state hero.
Experience here.
Topping Consumer Watch, job openings hit a record high this spring. According to the Labor Department, more than 9 million jobs were posted in April. Tourism and food services had the most jobs advertised, followed by other services and manufacturing. Companies have been rushing to find workers as the economy roars back to life amid increasing vaccination rates and loosening restrictions. American Airlines is reportedly asking office staff to head to the airport to help. According to the Dallas Morning News, the air carrier asked non-union employees to go to its hub in Dallas-Fort Worth to assist travelers. It's expected to be an ongoing need as the carrier braces for a surge in summer travel. Staff were requested to take on 6-hour shifts to assist with scheduling and communication, but they won't make any extra money for the extra hours. The majority of us see the line item right there on our paychecks, but the wealthiest Americans are legally paying little to no income tax. That's according to a report in ProPublica, which obtained IRS data of the ultra-rich, like Amazon founder Jeff Bezos. Reporter Elise Preston shows us how the other half dodges the tax man.
When most of us get paid, so does Uncle Sam.
You're really taxed a lot. You're taxed more than you should be, probably.
But nonprofit investigative journalism organization ProPublica obtained never-before-seen IRS information and found the 25 richest Americans sometimes paid little or no federal income taxes. That includes Warren Buffett, Elon Musk, Michael Bloomberg, and Jeff Bezos, now the richest person in America. He paid no federal income tax in 2007 and 2011.
Their way their wealth builds, they are outside of the systems.
The ultra-rich can trim their tax bills through charitable donations or by avoiding wage income.
They choose when to take income. Sometimes they don't take income at all. They don't take wages. And it's only taxed when they sell, and they often don't sell. They borrow to fund their lifestyles.
None of this is illegal, which begs the question,
Does Congress need to change the law?
I do believe they should, yeah. And I believe they should overhaul the whole tax system.
It is ridiculous that the wealthy are not paying taxes and we're paying all of the taxes.
President Biden has proposed higher taxes on the rich, including raising the capital gains tax. Both Warren Buffett and Michael Bloomberg responded to ProPublica, saying they support an increase in taxes on the wealthy and donate much of their wealth. Elise Preston, CBS News, New York.
The IRS is investigating the source of those leaked tax documents. Our Pet Vet on Call, next. The CBS Evening News is next. Then on KOAM News at 6. We're going to hear more about a recent spike in coronavirus cases in Joplin among unvaccinated residents. Plus, a federal appeals court panel blocks Missouri from enforcing a sweeping state abortion law. And the Better Business Bureau warns consumers about Father's Day related scams. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. Sometimes there's no cure like a pedicure. Today's question for our Pet Vet on Call: when should I see a vet about a cracked nail on my dog?
If there is pain or infection, if your dog is lame and limping, if the toe is swollen and red, if he's licking at it a lot, that means pain, that means infection, and you definitely need to see a vet. He'll need some antibiotics because they don't wear shoes, so we want to make sure we can get rid of the infection. But if there isn't any of those signs, then don't do anything. That nail will grow back and you'll be okay.
It's true, dogs do not wear shoes generally. We invite questions from anyone. If you have one, just send it to petvet@koamtv.com. Dr. Eva Dudek from the Parsons Pet Hospital answers a different question every Wednesday right here on KOAM News at 5. You can also find answers to previous questions on our website. Now, our picks of the litter for the week. From the Joplin Humane Society, we've chosen this male pit bull terrier mix puppy named Buckaroo. And from the Southeast Kansas Humane Society, we've chosen a 3-year-old female cat named Lily. If you're looking for a pet, remember, check out your local Humane Society. They always have a bunch of them. Boy, I hope your air conditioner is working because it is hot out there, Nick.
I was going to say, hot and humid to take us through the next couple of days at least, Al. 91 tomorrow, 92 Friday. As far as rain chances go, maybe a very slim chance of a shower or storm late tonight, but most of us will be dry. A random storm tomorrow, but I think a better shot for storms coming our way on Friday. But even then, we'll stay kind of hot going into the weekend.
Thanks, Nick, and thank you for joining us. We'll see you right back here at 6. In the meantime, let's take care of ourselves and each other and make it a great evening.